Hello, golf fanatics. Billy Ho Sports is here with another course preview, breakdown, your opening salvo to your weekly DFS game plan. Thrilled to have you joining me as we embark on a brand new season of PGA drama, and hopefully we get some of those Sunday sweats going on. Got a really good turnout for the viewership last week on the video. Gonna strive to be even better this week and every week. So my main purpose in the videos, familiarize yourself with the golf course itself, what type of PGA tournament it is. You know, they play on weekly basis, different tournaments. We have the new elevated events with no cuts and all that kind of good stuff. So you have to pay attention. This week starts week one of one and done in a lot of leagues out there, including my own. So I'm going to be hooking up with my partner on the Discord this week, checking that out. Also, we have to identify the particular type of player with the proper skill sets required, not only to play well, but we ultimately are looking for those high-level players that get those eagles, those birdie streaks, and those bonuses like bogey-free rounds and such. So with all that said, before we get into the show, if you are a fan of horse racing, like me, you like to place a bet or two on the horses, or you're a big fan of the Kentucky Derby and the entire Triple Crown, Billy Ho is the place to be to catch all the action of the Triple Crown and Kentucky Derby Trail. Just check out my channel. I have plenty of playlists out there already. So give it a look. And ultimately, you have to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You have to smash that. Well, you don't have to, but I appreciate you smashing that like button every time. That's really important. Notification bell, very important to stay up to date. And in the comment section, let's throw out a question. Tell me which high-level player this week is going to miss the cut at Sony. We had, I think, Tom Kim last year at like a high-priced 10K guy. We're talking 9,500 and up on DraftKings. Who do you think the chalky guy is that's going to blow up lineups, basically? Okay, today we puddle jump from the tip of Maui, where we were this week at Kapalua, to the toe of Oahu, and that's going to be in the city of Honolulu for the Sony Open. Sony Open is the second leg of this little mini Hawaii swing, I guess. But this one is a full field event. That means we have 144 players teeing it up next Thursday. So keep that in mind. We are significantly more than 59 players. So when you have that many, you really have to double down on your research, because 6 of 6 lineups on DraftKings are really, really hard to get across in these big field events, especially with the new Korn Ferry Tour players and the guys that haven't played in a long time and all that kind of stuff. So glad you're joining me for that. Now we are kicking off our journey with the focus on the golf course, Wiley Country Club, overlooking the Pacific Ocean, southern tip of Honolulu. Like I said, this iconic golf course, actually, the tournament itself goes by all the way back to 1965. So this golf course, completely different than the one they faced at Kapalua. This course is characterized by gently rolling terrain, not the big elevation changes like we had before. It's not excessively hilly, but it does have subtle slopes along the way and some minor elevation changes to make it a little bit influential. And so it will affect club selection and ball movement, things of that nature. Also, the fairways are much narrower and they're dog-legged. So that means they're going to be a lot harder to hit, more like bringing it back down. 3-inch thick Bermuda rough will have a tendency to produce those flyer lies where the guys just blast it and it takes one hop and skips off the green. So speaking of the greens can be tricky to putt on the way the grain is laid out. It'll fool you with the breaking, and they're much smaller greens, which means you're going to have better precision on approach shots. So that said, players will miss greens. This is going to be more of your average green and regulation week instead of like everybody hitting 85% greens. So the players are going to be calling on that short game a lot more because of that drop in greens and regulation. And so it doesn't mean that it's not going to be a score fest. Obviously, this course still plays easy if you just stay within yourself relative to par. We have like 18 to 22 under as far as the winner goes with a par 70 golf course. That is big. And the specs I'll put up in the background so you can see those. There's no sense in going over every little thing. What you really want to know is the Bermuda greens. They're 11 to 12 on the stimp. They're about 7,000 square feet in size. The fairways are Bermuda. The rough is thick Bermuda grass. The fairways are a lot narrower, averaging 30-something yards wide, things of that nature. So also weather will play a part. The weather showing right now is showing a lot of rain next week. We're talking like inches throughout the day, like Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe. It depends on which way the weather, if it's coming in faster or slows down. But rain could provide a unique advantage to players who can hit fairways due to the fact that a wet golf course means that they will implement preferred lies. Or you've maybe heard it, lift, clean, in place, which is basically if the ball's in the fairway or on the fringe of the green, you can pick the ball up, clean it off, place it back down where it was, and then play. And that in the fairway, you talk about making it a ton easier. The guys can line up the damn Titleist on the golf ball to where they want to hit it. So just think of a professional golfer having that kind of an advantage. And but on the contrary, this being a coastal course location brings in trade winds into play. So that's really the main defense of the golf course. And I do believe if we start getting up into the 17 to 22 mile an hour sustained winds, then wind's going to be affecting play because it's a flatter golf course. There's less mountains. And even though there's big, tall palm trees, they're not blocking the wind. So we'll have to keep that in mind. All that said, when it comes down to the skill sets, accuracy combined with length, you don't so much have to be super long here. You can actually club down in a lot of cases. There's only 2 par 5s. Then you got the 4 par 3s and your standard par 4s. So par 4 scoring is going to be very high. Those unafraid to take on the pins. So guys that can hit it in the fairway, that can turn around and attack those pins like last year's winner. See, Kim, he just is a guy that when he gets hot, he doesn't let up. He attacks pins. He chips in off the green. That picture you saw of him earlier with the fist pump, I watched the highlights last year. Him and Hayden Buckley were going head to head, and he chipped it in from off the green on 17 for a birdie to get the 17 under in the winning score. And he was just so fired up about it. So Siwoo's a guy that carries a lot of emotion, and guys like that win these golf tournaments. So specifics on building a stat model go like this: strokes gained off the tee, emphasis on accuracy, strokes gained approach, mid irons and wedges. Greens and regulation can be important, even though it's kind of average. But a guy that hits 77% of his greens on average is a guy you want rather than a dude that hits 62%. So that's the kind of thing. Opportunities gained, that means knocking it within 15 to 20 feet of the hole, having birdie opportunities. That's huge. Obviously, putting stats, tee to green, around the green, but I'm going 10 to 20 feet on putting and put the rest on a gift certificate for course history. And then next we'll get into the players. Hey, don't forget about my weekly contest by Free Drop Billy. It's Billy Ho's kind of a listener league thing. Been doing it for a few years now. It's cheap, fun, and a not so easy contest to win. Paying top 2 finishers. I usually go 50, but it runs when it runs. We only got 37 this week, but that's not too bad. I was a little late getting it out. So I'm going to get it out first thing Monday, and we're going to start just steadily filling this thing left and right, and maybe even up the ante to 75 or so. We'll see down the road. So let's get into the live leaderboard from Rick Run Good. And what we're looking at is the Century, and it's currently sorted by strokes gained approach. because I think off the tee is kind of skewed due to the unique nature of this particular golf course with the wide open 95-yard fairways and everything. But you still have to hit approach shots into greens. So I thought that was a good kickoff spot to see kind of who's shining through the first three rounds of the tournament. And you see Lucas Glover up there. Of course, Lucas with his putter woes. We know he has figured that out, and I'll get to him a little bit later. So stick around. This is just kind of like I said off the tee. I didn't want it to interfere with my process, but guys like Harmon, Cole, Henley, and Poston are all going to play next week. They're all kind of up here pretty good. Corey Connors is going to play next week. Siwoo, defending champion. So guys like that, I think Tagala is going to be in the field next week as well, and that course seems like a pretty good setup for him. So I just like to get an idea on who's coming in hot or not, and if there's possible bounce back or maybe some advantage to a guy that just say like Ludwig Aberg played like dog crap this week, so maybe that keeps his ownership down. But he's really struggling this week at Kapalua. Despite the wide open fairways, he's struggling with the driver. He's lost a total of 9 strokes total through 3 rounds. That's pretty concerning, and it's not first time jitters or anything like that. It's basically just him just taking too many chances, I think, and maybe the weather had something to do with it. I'm not really sure about that. But his I think round 1 he was fine though, consistent through round 2. But he did make a few mistakes leading to a double bogey in round 2, but the wheels really came off in round 3. He was 5 over on the back 9. He only hit 6 out of 15 fairways. So I don't really know what to think about that. The other guy is Cam Davis. Both these guys have really struggled this week. Cam Davis is another one. I thought he'd play well, but his approach game and 9 strokes total through 3 rounds. So his entire game was bad. He'll be in the field next week. And he's been pretty consistent at Sony over the past few years, gaining a ton off the tee. So, we could take a look at the Holy Grail here real quick. And this is just kind of something I set up for just the last couple of years. And basically all it is my parameters were par 70s, 7,200 yards or less. So short par 70 golf courses. And over the last few years, I wanted to get an idea on who we're looking at. And as you can see, we got some excellent ball strikers up top in Corey Connors, Luke Bliss, Keegan Bradley. Aberg is obviously up here as well. Decky won this tournament a couple years ago. Russell Henley, Siwoo defending. Benny On, I'll get to in a minute. I'm kind of excited about him this week. My man Chris Kirk might win a golf tournament again. He has really been looking good. So guys like that, if Chris Kirk wins the Century, he may not play Sony, so we'll have to see about that. But an interesting name, to say the least, that you see popping up here is this Yuto Katsuragawa. I'll just call him Katsuragawa, the big cats in the house. And I thought I had his profile pulled up, but I don't think so. But I do got Benny On pulled up. But anyway, this guy is kind of an interesting story. Korn Ferry Asian Tour guy for a couple of years. He finished T8 at the Australian Open, which was a pretty strong field event. Joaquin Neiman won that one. Adam Scott was in it, several other top-notch ones. He had a T26 made cut at the John Deere last summer. But another interesting nugget I was reading up on him is back in 2022, the Singapore Open, he closed out with a strong 68 to post a T2 along with Tom Kim, in that big event in Asia. So I just wanted to lead into a possible trend coming into this golf tournament, which we'll go over here to the cheat sheet so you can see some stuff here as well. So basically it's called I guess you can pronounce it Asian. It's ASEAN countries, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Bear with me. The last 3 winners, Siwoo Kim, Hideki Matsuyama, and Kevin Na. All these are the Asian nations like Japan and South Korea and China and all those, like the Asian 5, Asian 6. Anyway, I could push the narrative even further and go a year before because Australia is technically part of the six. So toss in Cam Smith. I think it's a possibility. I just I don't want to be like Mr. Predictor guy, but I just really feel like Benny On's going to do really well and have a chance to win this golf tournament because he is just playing career best type golf. Now, if he reverts back to losing 5 or 6 strokes putting, he may burn everybody's lineup and miss the cut. But the way he's putting it nowadays, where he's close to even or even on the plus side a little bit, combined with his distance, he is super long off the tee. He's decently accurate as well. So, just thumbing down the list here, we got guys like Bhatia coming back in, Steven Jaeger bombs, always good at a birdie fest. Denny, gotta love sexy Denny on Bermuda, best putter in the field. Although his record here has not been super stellar. Let's see. Alex Noren's had a bit of a resurgence. I'm just going to throw out some names as we go down here, and then we'll wrap it up. Doug Gim, the Gimmer, is in there as well. Paul Barjon was popping a little bit, but he's got way too many negatives here. So I'm not really sure because I'm going to be looking for accuracy guys and greens and regulations super high, like super dark green in regulation guys. Like, you got right Tyler T. Dunks, although he's never made a cut here. That's kind of weird. A guy with his skill set, you'd think he'd at least make a cut. So, anyway, getting back to where I was thinking of over here at the Holy Grail, both Lucas Glover and Luke List are also guys that come to mind that guys might be taking a pot shot at this golf tournament. So anyway, I just wanted to mention a few possible guys. And so we got a long week to prep, and we're going to get into this one and done. And my thoughts on the one and done are like this. This is the first week, and I'm going to get with my partner, the Dart Hero, and over on the Discord, and we're going to figure it out. And it's not a week where you're going to win or lose anything in particular. Just get a guy that's going to finish up the board and get you some money get you on the board, get you 6 figures on the board, like a Glover or List, maybe, but like Siwoo, he's playing good enough, and he's just the type of guy that would run it back and have a top 10 finish. I don't know if I could fully trust Hideki Matsuyama, but I'm not really worried about using a guy here thinking that I was going to plan on using him somewhere down the road, like Russell Henley. Where else am I going to use Russell Henley? Maybe there are golf tournaments that you can use Russell Henley, but I'm not going to look back 6 weeks, 10 weeks down the road, go, damn, I wish I had Russell Henley. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. And that's going to do it for the Sony preview. Best of luck this week. Until next time, see you soon.